and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. Happy 2nd of June, everybody. So this is my number 2. Yeah, moving right over. We'll see. There's definitely a few colours there that I don't think I've added in yet, but there's also a few that look a little bit different, but let's zoom in. Loving the difference in sort of colours on this one, but we're right over on the right hand side, so I have had a little shuffle of my trays so that I am able to get hold of them for each one, but I'm actually going to start with what I should have potentially started with last time, or my preference anyway, which is my AB diamonds. So if they don't sit in the right place, I can nudge them with the others that I end up putting around them. And I can use my other diamonds to sort of nudge them up. So I'm using, this one's a bit of a flatter, one of my pickup pens that I have, but I think we only have one lot of AB on here. I think it's just the numbers 1, 2 and 3, but I'm going to do the ABs and then I'm going to follow it with these brown outlines. I think that's going to be my standard sort of start to the game, should we say. That's how I'm going to start each section, and then we'll play it by ear from there while I fill in some gaps. But I hope everybody is well and ready for day 2 of the June waffle. Nice sort of a weekend start to the waffle, so people potentially will have a bit more time to be able to join in, take part, all that sort of jazz, and we'll see how it goes. But even if you can't join me and diamond paint each day, make sure you are taking a little bit of me time, a bit of time for yourself to be able to do something, whatever that may be. Even if you're just able to get out of the house and take a walk around the block or something, potter in the garden, just something that you can do for yourself for, you know, at least 5 minutes. But anyway, comments, etc. Still working through comments from previous waffles. But Lady DAC says she loves her Diamond Art Club 4 placer. She's used it now on both rounds and squares. And for her, it was a game changer. Yeah, with using this, well, yesterday, I think I also used it on my Aura Lower Foxwoman painting, which was round, and I have done a bit of my square painting that I've just kitted up. I have done a bit of that with it as well. So I can confirm, a bit like the metal placers that we sell in our shop that are more budget friendly, they both do work well across both of them. I will say I do like the thin Diamond Art Club ones. I wouldn't like to pay the price to put one in every single pen I have, but I do definitely like to have at least sort of the couple that I do have, and then I can potentially change them about. I'm about to work with a pen that was gifted to me by Cindy. Absolutely gorgeous pen design. Let me pop those diamonds back, pop my AB pen away and grab. So this pen, gorgeous, gifted to me by Cindy, as I say. The holes on the ends of these are quite small, so I have kept it with the pen tips that they sort of came with, this one. And what I thought I'd do is, if I do want to multi-place, so like there is a few of these lines that would be nice to multi-place with, I've popped it back into my little pen from Hand Turned Heaven. So I will in effect use this as my extra pen for now, rather than trying to take the pen tip out each time, because I did take the pen tip out for day 1 of June Waffle. And to be honest, because I do have to mess about with the O-ring on this tip, especially to get it to fit, I think it might be easier to just keep it in one pen. Because a lot of this I'm happy with single placing. There are just some things, when I see these really long lines that I'm getting in these sort of brown bits at the moment, I just see myself multi-placing them. Not so much where there's only like 2. It's mainly the really long ones that stand out to me, like, oh yeah, I need to crack my multi-placer out for these really long pieces. But yeah, the ones that go across, I can multi-place across, and I have done on some, but it's not the easiest thing for me, because my multi-placing skill level is primarily just doing multi-placing vertical. And I don't mess with a lot of testing things and trying things out on Whip and Waffles, because I'm trying to concentrate on reading out comments. And diamond painting, I would rather do a sort of more of a don't have to think, natural kind of thing. Let that be a secondary task. Try and concentrate on my words, though it doesn't always help. Yeah, so Liana says hi. She says you have so much to offer. Loving my videos, and she's just signed up to the shop, so she'll be peeking around. Lovely, thank you so much. Teresa said 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 30 degrees Celsius, which is far too warm for me. She says here today in Washington State. She says they got no spring at all. I feel like we got no spring. She says no rain or mild weather. They went straight from cold to hot. And while we didn't go as hot as you, we did seem to go from like 11 degrees to like 23. And that's Celsius. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, sort of straight off the bat. Excuse me. But yeah, we didn't seem to have any of those, what I love, which is the spring days. So it's like 18, 90 degrees, nice breeze, you know, feels nice and mild, but warm mild. Not like autumn, where it's cooler, crisper air. It's more where you can feel the warm air coming in. I feel like we haven't had that. I feel like I've been shortchanged on the seasons this year, that's for sure. Because now, even when we lose the sun and we end up with the rain, it goes back to the really cold, to like the below 15 degrees. So we're not even getting it with the rain, where it feels quite mild but wet. Yeah, I think everybody has been shortchanged with the weather this year, and yeah, it's just not fair. Maria, or Marie Angel, sorry, Marie Angela Rose. It's amazing how you read words differently when there's no space between them. She said, hi Rebecca. She said, did you see the real ABs in the sky, Northern Lights? She says, because of the electromagnetic solar storm. Yes, I did, thanks to hubby. I could only see them primarily through my phone. And I did take a couple of pictures, you know, where it sort of does the balance. So I did see some on the first night. We were probably only out for like 10-15 minutes. So I do believe if we'd have sort of stayed out for longer, we may have been able to see some more in maybe sort of real life as such, not just through the lens. But yeah, the second night we couldn't see any at all. I don't think the second night was anywhere near as visible as the first night was. But yes, I did get to see some, so I can sort of tick that off my mini bucket list as having seen some in my life, that's for sure. I've seen a solar eclipse as well, but I was a child, so I don't hugely remember that, but it is something that I partly remember having done. Mysterious Days, she says she is catching up on Whip and Waffles, and she is absolutely loving how Foxwoman is coming out. Yes, Foxwoman did turn out stunning. I'm very happy with her by the end, by the final completion. She says you need to stop growing our wish lists. I think everybody needs to accept part responsibility for everybody's wish list, to be honest. Yes, I do accept my responsibility for growing anybody's wish list. I know I have done it. And other people have definitely done it to me too. So I do know the feeling. I have recently actually ordered another painting. I think it was Cozy Cabin from Diamond Art Club. It is one that caught my eye. I did stick to just that one though when I ordered. I did get free shipping with it because it is sort of a bigger one. But yeah, I figured I needed that one in my life, or in my ever-growing stash. But you know, I will get through my stash a bit more as time goes on, I'm sure. If I get to do a bit more diamond painting throughout the month this month and work through my big square one that I currently have kitted up and on the go. She says she's 2 rows down on Cosmic Trip. And she is absolutely loving how it's coming out. She said the rhinestones. She said it's the first time she's worked with rhinestones in a kit, and she can't believe they're not more popular. I think the rhinestones very much is decided by the image itself. I truly believe that the rhinestones that come with Cosmic Trip are absolutely amazing, and they work so perfectly for that painting. But for example, I don't think they would work on this one in the same way at all. Sorry, I need a new colour. We're on a new one for this gorgeous blue. Yeah, but Cosmic Trip, the rhinestones work perfect. I think if they are brought in to future paintings and they are the right paintings, I think it will be a very, very good move. Because some of them are absolutely beautiful. As long as they're done right. And I think sometimes that can be the hard part. Unless you physically diamond painted every single painting to see what it looked like finished. and we're able to chop and change them, because the rendering, while the rendering can be so good, it's not the same as actually doing them and seeing it in different lights, which I think is why sometimes, and the likes of this painting is a prime example. This is a painting that, while I liked, it was more of a maybe in the future. However, as soon as I saw one completed, and this isn't even in real life, this was just an image of a completed one, my level of interest in it changed, and it became a need. And that just doesn't come across in the rendering the same way it did in the actual completed painting. And I am so happy I got it, and I'm so happy that I'm doing it now, because it is one of the ones that I've been itching to do. But I think it's a small enough size to be able to get through doing as a waffle throughout the month of June. Right, so we've got that little bit done down there. Let's get this filled in up here. Mysterious Days also says, she says, yesterday, May the 12th, I am a couple of weeks behind, she says, was Mother's Day in the US. She says she ended up spending it with her mum and the elderly woman who lives with us. She said she made a pot roast for dinner and a pineapple upside down cake, she said, for her. It was a casual day, but one spent in good company, she said, which is the spirit of the day. She said, happy Mother's Day to all American mums and non-American. She said, even if you've already celebrated it, being a mum is hard. She said, it's okay to celebrate it twice. It definitely has its moments, but I am sure most of us, and I say most because there are some people that are a bit different, but most of us wouldn't change it at all. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to move to this letter K, sort of get my, I like to sort of box my painting in a little bit. So K is 209, which I've not had out yet. And I am going to switch to my multi-placer for a bit. It's that big long line. It attracts me to give the multi-placer another go for a bit. And with doing these waffles every day, part of the reason that I'm able to do one that's this big is the likes that I can multi-place a little bit, which can trim the time spent filming, considering I'm doing it 7 days a week for a month, and also the fact that I can have the diamonds out in the trays that takes so much time off the plate, being able to being able to just grab a tray and it have the colour in, which will get more and more as it goes on. I wonder what will be the last colour to be ever sort of topped up into a tray. I think we've got a couple of new colours in today's, but we are only on day 2. Ali Cat says, oh my gosh, she said she just adores the huge fox ears. And that's on my Oroloa Fox Woman. Yeah, that was a really, really nice painting. I am so impressed with how it's come out. That's my second Oroloa painting that I've done. I think my first one was a square, and I was very happy with both of them. I've absolutely loved both of the ones that I've done, and I think they turned out so well. I've recently added a new one to my stash, so you never know when that one will get picked as my sort of next painting to do. Just trying to avoid. Okay, so I think I've got all my multi-placing bits done. Try and make sure I don't miss out some of these for single placing. That's the only thing when I multi-place. I feel like I can't go, you know, through from one side to another. And I often find that I miss the odd little bits, more so when I'm working this way. I can end up missing the single bits that I've left after doing the multi-placing. That needs a nudge too. And that's the other thing as well, I can get fussy with the nudging. Right, number 7, we already have that one. Alicat also says, she says, Rebecca, she says, please forgive me for asking. She says, you may have answered this many times in the past. She says, but she was not a listener last year. She said she wasn't even a diamond painter last year. She says, and she doesn't know what the June waffle is about. She said, would you mind explaining for us newbies? I think I may have mentioned it in a couple of Whip and Waffles since. I know I have gone into it in a little bit more detail. But for the purposes of anybody that is new to my Whip and Waffle today, on the 2nd, the purpose behind a June waffle, in an ideal world, if everybody had the time, the funds, the money, you know, everything ticked off to be able to do, then in an ideal world, June waffle would be doing the same sort of thing as what I'm doing now, which is taking a diamond painting, splitting it up into 30 different sections and doing a section a day until it's completed, until the whole painting was completed and done and dusted, and that's that. And by the end of the month you have a finished painting. However, not everybody's life works that way. So the primary reason, even the primary reason behind taking a painting and splitting it into 30 sections is to get a bit of me time throughout the month of June. I started with a December Advent event, and that's where the whole concept of taking the bit of me time started. I still run my December event, but it was primarily the December event because we all know what December is like. And the primary group of diamond painters are women, not all, but the primary group is. And they are often the ones that will put themselves to the back of the queue, especially when it comes to Christmas. I am of the mindset that Christmas is primarily for kids. You know, the excitement level on Christmas morning, as much as we can get that excitement level, I do think you can't, it takes a lot to match a kid's excitement level. So yeah, I do think Christmas is primarily for kids, but I do think we shouldn't be forgotten in that time either. So I started doing it in December between the 1st and the 24th so that people could get that little bit of me time, and it was extremely popular, still going on, and therefore I now do a second one in June. So the concept is the same, get a little bit of me time each day throughout the month of June. What you do within that time could depend on your schedule and what's going on in your life. June's Whip and Waffle has been adopted by quite a few people as their tidy up, clean up month, which I think is a good idea. So within that tidy up, clean up month that they now count as being June, is they will finish up whips, Not everything's a whip and waffle. But they will finish up whips. So they'll finish up diamond paintings that they've started, not quite finished, maybe moved on to another one. Maybe it's been because another one is needed for a gift and therefore their priorities have changed. Maybe they've given up on a whip because it's a tough one, whether it be due to what the subject matter is, or whether it just be that it's confetti heavy, or maybe they've taken on a big project like a Heaven and Earth design, which is a sort of different kind of level of tough. Maybe they've taken on one of those and it's just been hanging around and it's not been completed. So yeah, a lot of people do take June as their tidy up month, should we say. Some people just like to continue on. Maybe they do only do one painting at a time, so therefore they just like to continue with the painting they're doing, but commit to doing a section a day. And if it is a huge one, a lot bigger than this one, their goal is not to complete it, it's just to get some progress made. So it's really up to you. You know, you may be in a very, very busy part of your life, and you may decide that actually you're just gonna pop the whip and waffle on AirPods and go for a walk, or, you know, take a bit longer on your nighttime routine. You know, don't just wash your face, slap some moisturiser on and get in bed because that's all we've got time to do. Maybe you're going to take a bit more time to enjoy the process, take a nice hot bath, whatever. But yeah, the main idea is take some me time each day during the month of June. And if you get to finish some projects, awesome. We've had some months over the past couple of years where people have finished multiple projects. You know, maybe they've done quite a few small ones, or maybe it is just they've been tying up all their projects that they've started but not finished, and they were all maybe really close to completion, and they've just, you know, pushed through and finished them all off. That's a good thing to do, and it doesn't even have to be diamond painting. You could have another project or another task that sort of sat there staring at you for a while. A few of us probably have an unfinished projects pile. Well, grab something out of that. Maybe do a new painting in between, do alternate days. But yeah, just push yourself to have that bit of me time and potentially, you know, complete some sort of challenge is always good too, because you can do it for a month. We're not asking you to change your lifestyle to do it all the time, though you should try and get some me time all the time. We know that, you know, trying to force something like that into your routine isn't always possible, but try and do it for a month and then join us again in December and do it all again. Cheryl, she said she's had her June waffle kit picked out for weeks. She is doing Rainbow Roses by Diamond Art Club, and she's always also using it for the Pride diamond painting event. Perfect. If you can tie it in to 2 events, then all the better. Ticks both of those boxes if they're both around June time. But yeah, it's nice to know that you're gonna potentially, you know, because life can throw us little curveballs, but it's nice to know that you are potentially going to be able to start and finish a project within a month. Because more often than not, projects do not have end times. And most of mine don't particularly have end times, and sometimes they take a lot longer than I think they're going to. Mysterious Days, she says, the Diamond Art Club multi-places, she says, definitely do need to have the putty adjusted in the pen. She says you've got to play around with it, she said, and eventually it will sit in right. Yeah, I have got the putty in there right pretty much now. It just takes a little bit to get used to something new. She says, and if it's not seeming to pick up, she said it may be too deep. So she said, add more or remove the putty and put it back in. But yeah, I had a little bit of a mess and I sort of got it working right. I did primarily use a different putty to the one that Kim sent me, but I am going to try the one that Kim sent me again in the future. But I tried the one that we've got in our shop, whereas Kim sent me one which is our putty but with something added into it to make it a little bit tougher. So I'm going to give that a go again at some point. Lily says she nearly stood up to go to her front door when she heard the knock. So quite often I have been filming my whip and waffles, and I may have to with my June waffles, but I now try to do all my filming throughout the working week to give myself the weekend off. Sometimes I do, like we've just had a bank holiday weekend and I did film on the bank holiday weekend, but that's because this weekend that you're watching this, me and hubby are actually away, so I'm actually trying to film a bit more ahead than I normally would. But yeah, I film during the day, and quite often it is just me and Luna the dog at home, so I leave the door open on my craft room, which means any noise throughout the house can often be a bit louder. So apologies if you end up hearing a knock and feel like you have to get up to answer your own door and it's mine. But the door is constantly going here, and as much as I try to film around when I potentially know something may or may not be coming to the door, frankly, it's just not always possible. And sometimes I will be spending more time waiting to diamond paint or to film than I actually would spend filming. So I'm having to teach myself, because I very much prefer things to go, you know, as I planned and as I want them to. But yeah, I'm very much trying to teach myself to go with the flow, especially with my filming in the week, because having the weekends off has proved so beneficial to me. I don't feel like I'm working 7 days a week, so it's a change that did need to happen, and I am glad that it's happened. But yeah, right. Oh, got another new colour. 772. 772. Check it's right. Loving how many colours I've managed to sort of get through though by just having them already kitted up. It holds out hope that I will still have time to do the whip and waffles where I'm doing an extra section. Because there are some some days further down where the painting didn't quite divide up into 30 nice little sections. So we're doing a bit more those days, but that's all right, because I love diamond painting with you all. So, oh, another colour, 3824. 3824. Doing my double check-in ever since I made a mistake on day one. Oh, Natalia, I've just noticed there is a comment left on the June waffle kitting up painting. There's one still left in my comments, and she says how she can't wait. Well, it's here. It's here, Natalia. I hope you are enjoying the June waffle. I know many of you diamond paint along to my whip and waffles, so I hope you're all enjoying getting to diamond paint a little bit more than maybe normal. I do apologise if some days end up being shorter than others, because I partly have a feeling that today's may end up being shorter. Just the way I seem to, the speed that I seem to have got through most of this. The fact that I'm not adding colours to my trays every 2 seconds does make me feel like this is going to be a quicker one. But you know, some days will be like that, some days will be longer, but you have them every single day. So hopefully it will all work out, and hopefully the timing will all work out, that the slightly lower times, the more like 45 minutes is sort of what works perfect for me for filming wise, and making sure I can sort of fit in multiple whip and waffles over my 3 to 4 days filming, and still of course be able to run the shop and life and have my days off. Jen, she says, hi Rebecca, she says, just a suggestion, she says, but rather than changing the day the whip and waffles are on, she says, change it up, she says, by adding a video of Luna to the end of each whip and waffle video. So one of the discussions on my main whip and waffle was whether to change my whip and waffle schedule and when my videos came out to better suit you guys who watch it. The consensus does seem to be that Sundays and Thursdays normally on a normal month do work very well, so it looks like they may be staying as they are. But I did say the other week that I would put a video of Luna at the end of the whip and waffle if I remembered. And if anybody watched that, you'll know that I did not remember. It is not in my normal pattern. I think it actually may have been a whip and waffle that I very, very nearly forgot to even finish the uploading process in time for it actually to go up. So I do have, you know, like a list and a cycle of everything that I need to film. But sometimes once the video's been edited, it being exported from my editing software to my desktop can take a while. And then actually uploading to YouTube can also take a while. Sometimes depends on how fast our internet decides it would like to be that day. And it's often more temperamental when I need it to be quicker, which, you know, is always the way. And yeah, sometimes I'm actually major early, so I will have them edited and uploading a day or two before they're due to be scheduled, and that's when I hit the biggest problem. Because sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do those, and I completely forgot just to fill in all the YouTube bits that I need to fill in and actually tell it when to play it for real. So yeah, apologies. I will try and put in Luna videos on the whip and waffle, on the end of the June whip and waffle, anytime I remember. That's what I'll go for. I will grab some. I will need to grab some, like, from the kids, because to be honest, I'm not very good at remembering to take videos and things. But the kids are forever taking videos of the dogs, so I will try and get a bundle off them and throw them onto the end of whip and waffles as and when I can and I remember. But if I put them into my editing software, I'm more likely to remember. But let's say I'll try my best. I will try my best to get some in there for you. Right, last part. Cat Lady, she says, life here is going to get busy. They have accepted an offer on their house and they now need to seek out their next home. They also need to clear out numerous carloads to the skip and charity shops before they can start packing the house up. And they still haven't settled on the actual area for their move. So they will be out and about all over North Yorkshire, West Cumbria and coastal Teesside. She says that move will be their final move, so they want to be by the coast. Sounds like you have quite a few busy day trips coming on, never mind the work you've got to do at the house. She said her quick diamond painting last week was a phoenix, a colourful painting with a black background. Yes, she does say it was 310. So she did a lot of multi-placing, but the colourful part was done one drill at a time. That's my favourite. If you can do the likes of the background with a multi-placer and get sort of all the boring part done and then do the nice parts, so much better. She said all done and it looks great. Well, fantastic news on that. I think this was also a comment left on the Oraloa Foxwoman video when I finished too. So it's nice that we both got to finish a painting, which is good. All the best with the house hunt. Just make the house hunt the top of the list, with the odd evening trip to the tip, or daytime trip if you can in the day. The odd daytime trip to the tip or the charity shops, and just see it as a soul cleansing. Sometimes I'd love to move for the soul cleansing, where I would just get rid of all those last minute bits. I can look around pretty much any room in my house and think, oh yeah, I could get rid of stuff from that drawer or that shelf or wherever. But it's taking it the charity shop as well that's half the problem. My daughter actually blitzed her room this last weekend in preparation for the last of her stuff coming back from uni, and there's already 3 bags all over the house. I need to ask her what her plan is to actually get them out of the house. Maybe I'll tag some things on, who knows. But anyway, that is another section done for today. That one actually seems a little bit skinnier on that side, so maybe it will be that depending on where we are on the painting will depend on the length. But to be honest, that could very well work for me too, depending on what days it does it. But when we're down here, we will be doing that little bit longer. So there will be some longer ones coming up at certain points. First one will be the 6th. We will go all the way down there. But anyway, this is day 3. So we will be moving over there for tomorrow. But thank you all so much for joining me for today's Whip and Waffle. And I'll speak to you all again tomorrow.